Welcome to the Bogosity Podcast for the end of 2011, the podcast that always looks back before moving forward. This is your host, Shane Killian. In this special edition, we'll look back over the first year of this podcast and review what we saw happening in 2011. But first, let's walk through the wardrobe to the news of the bogus. During the Bush administration, people all over the blogosphere were complaining, and rightly so, about his administration censoring scientific findings. Now the Obama administration is doing the same thing, so stop slacking off, bloggers! Let him have it the way you let Bush have it. This concerns a very important scientific finding, 2 papers which showed how bird flu could mutate to be more transmissible. It's yet another example of police behaving badly without any of the legal ramifications you or I would face if we did the same thing. 2 people in Oildale, California were struck and killed by a speeding police car driven by a Cary County deputy. Witnesses say the car did not have emergency lights or the siren running. According to one witness, he didn't even have his headlights on. Even though the speed limit on that stretch of road is 45 miles per hour, witnesses say he was going between 75 and 90 miles per hour, and they say the deputy speed through there all the time. Previous complaints have been filed and gone unanswered. In the last podcast, I used an example of Saudi tyranny as an example of the blind eye our government turns to its allies, while using the same behavior to justify war elsewhere. I should have just waited a week. A Saudi woman was executed, actually beheaded, after being convicted of practicing, get this, witchcraft and sorcery. Back home, things weren't much better. The president has signed into law the 2012 National Defense Authorization Act, which is a defense spending bill passed every year to authorize the next year's operations of the Department of Defense. But this year's bill contains sections that authorize the CIA or the U.S. military to detain American citizens on American soil without warrant, access to an attorney, or even basic habeas corpus rights. These bipartisan sections allow these citizens to be indefinitely detained outside of the country. Some of the language even allows for their execution. Now let's catch our breath as we look back over the bogus news throughout 2011. Now it's time to wrap this up with a look at notable idiots and other peddlers of bogosity, and to name 2011's Idiot of the Year.